Have you ever opened your fridge door, grabbed that little yellow plastic squeezy lemon to add a splash to your pancake or salad dressing, and thought absolutely nothing of it? You assume it is just fruit juice in a convenient container, right? Well, brace yourself, because that innocent little kitchen staple is almost certainly an absolute lie. You are not squeezing fresh fruit over your dinner. You are splashing a highly processed chemical cocktail onto your plate and paying a premium for the privilege. Today, we are tearing the lid off the UK supermarket juice aisle to expose exactly what the big brands are slipping into your baskets while you are not looking. By the time we are done, you will discover why 100% juice on the front of a label is a massive legal loophole that allows corporations to sell you stale liquid from halfway across the world. I will show you the exact laboratory data linking common supermarket preservatives to potential carcinogens when mixed with the natural acids in the fruit. We will break down 5 incredibly popular brands available in British shops right now that you need to bin immediately, and 3 genuine single-ingredient alternatives that are actually worth your hard-earned cash. And you will want to stay right until the end, because the absolute worst offender on our list is a household name that has been sitting in British cupboards for generations, completely unquestioned. And the truth behind it is genuinely shocking. Before we start naming and shaming the specific brands lurking on the shelves of Tesco, Sainsbury's, and Asda, we need to talk about how the modern food industry has completely warped a basic piece of fruit. To make one single standard bottle of genuine, unadulterated lemon juice, an industrial producer needs roughly 12 to 14 fresh lemons. Think about the cost of a net of lemons next time you walk into Morris or Aldi. Even at budget prices, buying that much fresh fruit costs a pretty penny. Now look at the price of a bottle of commercial lemon juice on the shelf, which often sits at less than £1. The maths simply does not add up, does it? If the fruit itself costs more than the finished product, how are these massive multi-billion-pound corporations chasing massive profit margins making a killing on it? The answer is a brilliant, highly deceptive logistical magic trick. Instead of squeezing fresh fruit and bottling it for you, giant food conglomerates buy up massive industrial-grade harvests from global agricultural hubs. They crush the fruit in colossal factories, and then they boil that fresh liquid down under intense heat until all the natural water evaporates, leaving behind a thick, sludge-like goo called concentrate. This sticky, lifeless paste is poured into massive industrial tanker trucks or shipping containers, where it can sit for weeks or even months, traveling across oceans and continents before it ever reaches a bottling plant in the UK. By the time that sludge arrives at the factory, every single bit of natural aroma, delicate flavor, and vibrant freshness has been completely obliterated by the heat and the passage of time. So, how do they fix it? They pump the sludge full of ordinary British tap water to reconstitute it. But because it now tastes like wet cardboard, they have to inject commercially manufactured lemon oil, heavily processed natural flavorings, and an aggressive cocktail of chemical preservatives to stop it from turning grey and rotting on the supermarket shelf. Here is the ultimate kicker. The regulations in the UK allow a manufacturer to legally slap the words 100% lemon juice on the front of the packaging, even if it is completely made from this heavily processed, reconstituted global concentrate. As long as the factory adds back the exact same ratio of water to fruit solids that was lost during the boiling process, they can legally claim it is pure juice. The phrase "from concentrate" is doing some astronomical legal heavy lifting on the back of the bottle, printed in tiny font that 90% of shoppers will never bother to read. You are being sold the illusion of a fresh orchard. But what you are actually buying is factory-engineered water that has been chemically revived. It is a massive corporate swindle, and your wallet is paying the price. Right. Let's start pulling these bottles out of the cupboard and looking at the cold hard facts. We will kick off with the supermarket own brands because they are the sneakiest offenders hiding right in plain sight on your weekly shop. First up is Tesco lemon juice, a staple found in millions of British kitchens. People buy this because they trust the blue stripe. They think it is an honest little budget buy, and it costs pennies. But flip that bottle around and look at the fine print. The ingredient list reads water, concentrated lemon juice, potassium metabisulfite, and lemon oil. There it is, right on the back of a bottle that claims to be pure on the front. Potassium metabisulfite is a sulfite-based preservative that double jobs as the industrial bleaching agent. The food industry uses it to keep the liquid looking uniformly, artificially yellow, instead of letting it turn the natural, cloudy, slightly dull shade that real lemon juice turns after a few days exposed to oxygen. Without that chemical bleach, you wouldn't touch it, because it would look exactly like what it is, stale, travelled water. You are paying Tesco for a bottle of reconstituted global sludge, a splash of local tap water, and a heavy hit of shelf-extending chemicals. It is flat, one-dimensional, and has about as much to do with a real orchard as a plastic lemon tree. Next up on the chopping block is Sainsbury's lemon juice from concentrate. Owned by one of the biggest supermarket giants in Britain, it carries an image of slightly higher quality, a product for the discerning home cook who wants to whip up a nice vinaigrette or a batch of pancakes. Yet, when you look at the actual composition, it is a carbon copy of the Tesco playbook. Water, concentrated lemon juice, potassium metabisulfite, and sometimes sodium benzoate depending on the supplier batch that week. Let's talk about sodium benzoate for a minute, because this is where the corporate cost-cutting gets genuinely dark. Independent laboratory data, widely cited by consumer groups like Which, has repeatedly warned that when sodium benzoate is combined with vitamin C or the natural citric acid present in citrus fruits, it can react to form trace amounts of benzene. Benzene is a known human carcinogen. Let that sink in for a second. The food industry is so desperate to keep a dead, boiled-down concentrate shelf-stable for months on end that they are willing to create a chemical reaction that generates trace carcinogens in your food. When you squeeze this onto your fresh fish or into your morning hot water, the sensation is completely flat. There is an aggressive, sharp chemical sourness that hits the back of your throat, but no complexity, no bright top notes, and no fresh aroma. It smells more like a kitchen surface cleaner than an actual piece of fruit. And charging you money for that is a complete and utter rip-off. If you are sitting there thinking, well, I shop at the budget retailers, so I am getting a fair deal, let's talk about Asda Smart Price, or their standard Asda lemon juice. This stuff is dirt cheap, often retailing for less than 50 pence a bottle. But as a consumer expert once rightly said, when the price is suspiciously low, the product usually is too. Asda cuts their costs by sourcing the absolute cheapest, lowest-grade industrial concentrate available on the global commodities market that quarter. 1 month your juice might be made from boiled-down leftovers from South America, the next month it is from Southern Europe, mixed together in an industrial vat. They pack it with the exact same chemical cocktail of sulfites and preservatives to mask the fact that the raw material is completely spent. If you already feel like checking your own kitchen cupboard right now to see what you've been feeding your family, hit that subscribe button right now, because it gets even harsher from here. Now we have to look at brand leader alternatives like Concord Foods' Squeeze Lemon, which you often see floating around the fruit and veg aisles of various UK grocers. They market this purely on convenience. It is the ready-to-use, no-mess alternative to keeping fresh fruit in the house. But look at the back, and you will see concentrated lemon juice, water, sodium metabisulfite, and a very prominent listing for lemon oil. Think about the sheer absurdity of that manufacturing process. They process, boil, ship, and filter the juice so aggressively that they completely strip out every single natural flavor compound and aroma molecule. The liquid left behind is completely dead. So, to make it sellable, they have to buy commercially manufactured lemon oil from an industrial flavor house and inject it back into their own product to fake a fresh scent. It is not agriculture. It is a chemistry project with a nutrition label slapped on the front to fool busy parents. Finally, we reach the undisputed heavyweight of British deception, the absolute king of the baking aisle, Jif Lemon. This is the ultimate household name. It is shaped like a real lemon. It has that iconic textured green or yellow plastic skin, and it has been the star of Shrove Tuesday pancake days since the 1950s. Generations of Brits have grown up trusting this specific brand, thinking it is the gold standard of convenience. But Jif is the ultimate marketing illusion. It is owned by Unilever, a colossal multinational consumer goods giant that knows exactly how to manipulate consumer psychology. You buy the plastic fruit shape because your brain subconsciously connects it to freshness. But look past the clever plastic molding. The ingredient list is the exact same chemical cocktail: water, concentrated lemon juice, and potassium metabisulfite. Jif has been coasting on pure nostalgia and massive marketing budgets for decades, while selling you preserved, dead concentrate at a massive markup per milliliter compared to actual fresh lemons. The tartness is artificial, the aroma is completely engineered, and the entire experience is an insult to your palate. You are squeezing factory-managed chemicals onto your food because a massive corporation convinced you that a plastic lemon equals real quality. It is a brilliant trick. It has made them millions, and it is a total scam. And now, what it was worth watching all the way through for. We have waded through the corporate muck, the chemical bleachers, and the glorified tap water, so let's talk about the good stuff. The transition from that processed rubbish to genuine quality is a total revelation, and your cooking is about to thank you for it. If you want to stop feeding your family chemical preserves, you do not have to grow your own lemon trees in a draughty British garden. There are honest, top-tier options sitting right on our supermarket shelves if you know where to look. The first recommended option on our list, and the most accessible value play for the everyday budget, is Quick Lemon Not from Concentrate. You can find this absolute gem in larger stores, bulk retailers like Costco UK, and major online grocers. Unlike the generic supermarket bottles, Quick Lemon completely bypasses the industrial sludge cycle. Their whole philosophy is blindingly simple. They take fresh lemons, squeeze them, and put the juice straight into the bottle. No boiling down, no stripping the liquid of its soul, and absolutely no added water. One standard 1-liter bottle is squeezed from roughly 40 whole, fresh lemons. When you flip this bottle around, the ingredient list is beautifully boring. Pure lemon juice. That is it. Because it is not from concentrate, it retains its natural cloudiness and a massive hit of natural vitamin C that hasn't been nuked by factory heat. In terms of price, a massive 1-liter bottle costs around £6, which works out to roughly 60 pence per 100 millilitres. Compare that to buying 40 fresh individual lemons at Sainsbury's or Tesco, which would easily set you back over £10. It is a genuine bargain. Biochemists and food specialists confirm that because the cell structure of the fruit hasn't been obliterated by intense evaporation, the natural citric acid remains stable without needing chemical preservatives. When you taste it, it doesn't just hit you with a flat, aggressive slap of sourness. It actually tastes like a freshly cut fruit, with those bright, zesty, slightly floral top notes that you need for a proper pancake or a crisp morning drink if you want to step things up a gear and treat your kitchen to something truly special. You need to head over to the baking or world food aisles of Waitrose or select Tesco stores and look for Waitrose Cook's Ingredients Sicilian Lemon Juice. This brand takes an uncompromising premium approach to production by sourcing their fruit exclusively from the sun-drenched orchards of Sicily. Sicilian lemons are world-renowned for a reason. The island's rich, fertile soil and Mediterranean climate produce fruit that is naturally larger, sweeter, and massively more aromatic than the cheap, mass-market varieties used to make global concentrates. The ingredient list here is a single, beautiful item: 100% Sicilian lemon juice. No potassium metabisulfite, no faked lemon oil, and no hidden factory processing. What sets this apart is the sheer depth of flavor. Just like a fine wine reflects the vineyard it came from, this juice carries the natural sweetness and complex citrus oils of real Italian agriculture. It has a beautiful, natural sediment at the bottom of the bottle, which is exactly what you want to see. It is proof that the liquid has not been aggressively filtered and stripped of its character. A 250 milliliter bottle sits at around £1.75, which is undeniably more expensive than a basic squeezy plastic lemon. But let's do the honest cost analysis. It works out to less than 35 pence per serving. If you are making a delicate lemon curd, a fresh seafood platter, or a high-end salad dressing where the lemon is the star of the show, using cheap concentrate will completely ruin the dish. The tiny extra spend is entirely justified by the astronomical leap in culinary quality. It is an honest, premium product that respects your palate. Finally, we reach the absolute winner of our supermarket audit, the undisputed champion of pure citrus that genuinely blew me away: Biona Organic Pure Lemon Juice. Available across the UK in health food shops, organic grocers, and major online supermarkets like Ocado, Biona is a family-run British business that has been championing clean, sustainable food for decades. Their production method is the absolute gold standard of the industry. They source certified organic lemons, cold-press them in small batches, and flash pasteurize the liquid for just a few seconds to ensure shelf safety without destroying the live enzymes and delicate flavor profile. The label is a masterclass in transparency: 100% organic lemon juice and absolutely nothing else. No synthetic chemical treatments on the fruit, no industrial bleaching, and zero preservatives. Independent laboratory tests show that Biona's cold-pressed method preserves the natural, complex layers of the fruit, giving you a sharp, vibrant tartness followed by a subtle, clean sweetness and a long, lingering citrus complexity that stays on the tongue. It passes every single sediment and aroma test with flying colors. It smells like an actual orchard, not a sterile hospital corridor. A 250 milliliter glass bottle costs around £2.50. Yes, it is the most premium option on the shelf, but because the flavor is completely unadulterated and intensely concentrated by nature, you actually end up using significantly less per recipe than you would with a watery, chemically preserved alternative. If you are someone who drinks lemon water every single morning for your health, or if you simply refuse to compromise on what you put into your body, Biona Organic is the smartest, cleanest, and most honest purchase you can make in the entire supermarket. It is an absolute knockout. Now that you know exactly which bottles are pure fraud and which ones are the real deal, let's arm you with some bulletproof tactics so you never get tricked in the supermarket aisle again. Here are the golden rules for buying lemon juice on your own. Rule number 1. Always ignore the big, flashy claims on the front of the packaging and immediately flip the bottle around to read the back. If you spot the phrase "from concentrate" or "reconstituted" anywhere in the fine print, put it right back on the shelf, because it means you are paying for heavily boiled global sludge mixed with local tap water. Rule number 2. Check the ingredient list for potassium metabisulfite, sodium metabisulfite, or sodium benzoate. These synthetic preservatives are a massive red flag that prove the product is dead, over-processed, and chemically preserved to survive months on a shelf. Rule number 3. Look for the words "not from concentrate" or "cold pressed" on the label, as these are your primary green lights that indicate the juice was squeezed directly from real fruit without intense factory heating. Rule number 4. Always buy your juice in dark or clear glass bottles rather than plastic squeezy containers, because high-quality brands do not pack premium, unadulterated fruit juice into cheap, chemical-leaching plastic. Rule number 5. Perform a quick visual check for natural sediment and cloudiness in the shop. If the liquid looks perfectly clear, bright yellow, and uniform like a fizzy drink, it has been aggressively filtered and industrially bleached, whereas a healthy layer of bits at the bottom is absolute proof of an honest, unrefined product. Rule number 6. Watch out for the phrase "natural flavorings" or "lemon oil" on the ingredients list, because real lemon juice has enough natural flavor on its own and never needs a factory to artificially inject aroma back into it to sum everything up. The entire commercial juice industry is built on a massive foundation of marketing illusion and clever legal loopholes. Huge multinational corporations rely on the fact that busy British shoppers are moving too fast through Tesco, Sainsbury's, or Asda to bother reading the tiny print on the back of the packaging. They spend millions of pounds on clever branding, nostalgic fruit shapes, and deceptive slogans to sell you a highly processed, chemically altered product that costs next to nothing to manufacture. To stop being a victim of this corporate greed, you only need to make one simple shift in your thinking. Stop trusting the big household names you grew up with and start trusting the raw ingredients list instead. You have the power to vote with your wallet every single week, and demanding real, clean food is the only way to force these giant brands to change their ways. Thank you so much for sticking with me and digging into the truth behind the supermarket shelves today. If you found this investigation helpful, please hit that share button and send this video to a friend or family member who absolutely loves baking pancakes, mixing up salads, or drinking lemon water every morning, because they deserve to know exactly what they are putting into their bodies too. I want to hear from you now, so drop a comment down below and tell me honestly. Which of these specific brands is sitting in your kitchen fridge right this second? Don't be shy. We have all been fooled by the packaging before, and it is time to clear out the junk together. If you want to keep exposing the shocking secrets behind the everyday products you buy, make sure to click on our next video where we pull back the curtain on the mainstream honey brands sold in British supermarkets. Keep your eyes open, check those labels, and I will see you in the next one.